everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So today I'm going to be looking at the dizzying fall of Klaus Schwab. Is there something what's going on with my screen here? Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know, I had a problem there. I don't know why I was having problems with this computer today. After another, I'm telling you. All right, here we go. Apologies about that. I don't know what happened there. Anyways, today I wanted to take a look at it's an older story, but something that very important, the Klaus Schwab resignation. As you may have heard, Klaus Schwab was forced to step down in the end of July. This was published, and they're talking about what really went on. There was an investigation for a while, accusations of improper conduct. Now, Klaus Schwab is 87 years old. 87. And one theory was that they wanted to push him out because he's so old, they just wanted him to retire, but he didn't want to go. He didn't want to let go of that power. You know, all these globalist Davos WEF people, I realized they're all like Meghan Markle. They all want as much power as possible, and they all want a microphone and a stage. They just want to pontificate about how genius they are as they destroy humanity. You know, that's all they do, and that's exactly up Harry and Meghan's alley, isn't it? I mean, seriously. And we can't forget the famous clip from Klaus. I'll play real quick. It's only a few seconds.
Aujourd'hui, au bout de ça, on parle de puces qu'on pourra s'implanter. Ce sera quand ça?
Certainement dans les 10 années à venir. Et d'abord, on va les implanter dans nos vêtements, c'est-à-dire wearables, comme on le dit. Et après, on pourrait s'imaginer qu'on les implante dans nos cerveaux ou dans notre peau. Et à la fin, peut-être il y a une communication directe entre notre cerveau et...
So I have to stop right there. That is exactly what the vaccine whistleblower woman said in the video I posted about what the snake bites are really about. Here's Klaus saying it. Now, there's an interview in English, and this one happens to be in French I caught. But he admits there's a direct communication between our brain and the digital world.
Et le monde digital. Ce que nous voyons, c'est une sorte de fusion du monde physique, digital et biologique.
Okay, so that wasn't the exact one I was looking for. I was looking for the one with who says, you put it under your skin. I think it's this one, actually. Let's see.
It doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take a genetic, it doesn't change.
If you take the genetic editing that's in the COVID shots. Yeah, so all of these WEF people, they don't go quietly. They all want to keep their power. They want to keep that microphone. I mean, look how many decades Al freaking Gore has been lying about climate change.
Level and causing these waves of climate refugees predicted to reach 1 billion in this century. Look at the xenophobia and political authoritarian trends that have come from just a few million refugees. What about 1 billion? We would lose our capacity for self-governance on this world. We have to act. So level and causing these waves.
So you see what maniacal lunatics they are. They just want that microphone. They want that blue World Economic Forum stage for them to sit on and call themselves, you know, consider themselves leaders of the world. Well, finally, Klaus was outed. And I just want to look at a little bit what really happened. So they claim in the news that he had harassed women and he had used money inappropriately. Him and his wife, Hild, had spent over $800,000 pounds on expenses that were not linked to WEF activities. I mean, I find this hysterical. They're acting as if WEF were some legitimate corporation instead of just a cabal of satanic globalist criminals, you know? I mean, they act like, oh, it was some inappropriateness and some misuse of funds. It's like, huh? Yeah, these are the richest people in the world. They're trillionaires. I don't think they're worried about $800,000. To them, that's nothing. Um, yeah. It said one person close to the organization told the Telegraph, quote, Klaus wasn't perfect, but he had been stick. He wouldn't go and people wanted him to go. So again, he was 87 years old and he refused to retire. So it looks like he was pushed out. Fall from grace there. It was interesting because he also they complained that he lied about the numbers, saying that they hated Brexit, by the way. They really hated Brexit. And there's Klaus, his best satanic buddy there, King Charles, all Satanists, in my opinion, all behind this mass murder going on. And yeah, Schwab was the quintessential Davos man. And he was best buddies with Macron, Emmanuel Macron, Donald Trump, Angela Merkel, Narendra Modi, Vladimir Putin. He was with everybody. They're all in one big club, and you ain't in it. Yeah. So they have Davos meetings in China. They have their own WEF group called the BOAO Forum, known as the Asian Davos. And in Saudi Arabia, they have their own Davos in the desert called the Future Investment Initiative. So this is like all the wealthy people in the area getting together and pontificating about how they're going to kill their people, their unwanted, the useless, unwanted eaters, you know? Yeah. So they said Schwab was allegedly inappropriate with female staffers. And so there are a lot of horror stories. They said their former employees opened a WhatsApp group called the Refugees. People had horror stories of working at the World Economic Forum. Yeah. And apparently Klaus wanted to retire in stages, and he wanted full control over who took over after him. So very much, huge ego here. He just thought he ran the whole thing. I mean, the whole thing needs to just drop to the ground. Yeah, there's him and his wife. There's Klaus and his wife, Hilda. Yeah. Hmm. And they apparently had lived here in this Villa Mundi near the WEF headquarters in Geneva. Now, apparently, Klaus tried to fight it. He threatened to file a criminal complaint, but that backfired, and he ended up having to resign 48 hours after the investigation had begun within the board against him. So let's look at this. So was Klaus funneling money and inappropriate to the young women there? Or was he just pushed out by his other globalist criminal pals there? I heard it was because he didn't succeed with the Great Reset. I guess they didn't kill enough people. I suspect it's because he didn't kill enough people, and they're disappointed. All the WEF people are disappointed that not enough millions of people died. You know, they wanted more deaths, I think. That's what they're all about. So anyway, let's take a look at this criminal satanic cabal that WEF, that Klaus Schwab was in charge of. So what got him? What finally? 87 years old. My goodness. Yeah, they are pure evil. Exactly. Yeah, Klaus has a son, I guess, that he wanted to be a successor, but it doesn't look like they're making him the successor. Doesn't look like that's happening. And he spent his whole life doing that, being part of an evil group, this WEF group. 55 years Klaus was running this thing. Talk about a waste of a life, huh? All these people are parasites, just like Harry and Meghan. They live off of other people's money, and they think they're doing some great thing because they stand on stage with a microphone. I mean, they're so disgusting. They're attention-seeking parasites like Meghan Markle, Meghan Harry. All right, so why did Klaus leave now? What was going on there? What was the real reason behind him finally being outed? And then later on, they did an internal investigation, WEF did, And they said, oh, Klaus didn't do anything inappropriate. Nothing to see here. Here. And we believe anything those criminal psychopaths say about anything. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's the iceberg. There's the iceberg that didn't melt for poor Al Gore, who's still screaming like a banshee on stage about climate change. And then, antidote, to get the antidote here. And then, okay, so the ice, yeah, let me see, the boy, the boy, maybe the fact that he wanted his boy to take it over was a problem. Then we got shell, seashell here, which is a symbol of oil. maybe the the oil barons got together and kicked him out. Man, all that Green New Deal BS. Oh my goodness. Oh, we got flour and blood. Yeah, all the blood that's tainted now thanks to that jab they put out. Blood supply is completely corrupted. You can't trust anything now. And of course, they did nothing to try to keep it clean. Just saying. So much criminality, so much evil the past few years. And, there's no justice. There's been no justice to date. And I guess, sometimes I think they try to do the globalists do a little bit to try to make everybody happy. Chalice, new beginning here. Like, I get the feeling like they're doing this like, okay, maybe people won't be so angry at WEF if we get rid of, because the Davos people, the globalists at WEF, they don't want to be scrutinized and talked about and watched. So I think part of it, I'm getting the vibe that they think getting rid an antidote here for all their bad publicity. Maybe they're hoping that getting rid of Klaus will people will stop, bitching about WEF so much or something. I know. Let's see here what these cards are talking about though. So iceberg. All I know is they all sound crazy. They all sound like they come from an Austin Powers movie. Dr. Evil, they came out of a time capsule, they're just too old. I think that's the problem right there. So iceberg is about hidden obstacles, something hidden, right? Because most of the iceberg is beneath the water. You don't see it. So there's a lot about this that's hidden. We're not going to see it. Problems bigger than you think. So there's a lot bigger problems than what they're writing about, because of course the mainstream media is always lying to us about. So they're only got to tell you what the globalists want you to know, or make up whatever they want you to think. Antidote, a welcome remedy to a toxic problem, a cure, a balancing force against negativity. Yeah, so see, the antidote's making me think that the big problems there that the globalists are having, because they've all been outed and everyone knows who they are and what they're up to, and they were looking for an antidote to their problems that are getting too big, right? It's getting bigger and bigger. More and more people are waking up, as they say. And I think that part of the reason to get rid of Klaus was an antidote to try to resolve and get rid of some of the problems they were having. They thought, because he's such a Nazi, right? I mean, they are literally like from following Nazi fascist diktats. They want a dictatorship. But he looks and he sounds like a Nazi. He's like straight out of a movie. And I commented on that in 2020 when he first reared his ugly head and his book came out, COVID-19 book. I thought, oh my God, is this a joke? Is this some sort of joke prank here? First, they tell you there's a virus, they're going to kill you, it's a pandemic. And then they turn around this Nazi-ish looking Hitler, wannabe type guy. The German accent comes out. He's like, this is a great reset. And you're just like, what the hell is going on? I feel like I'm in a B movie, So I do think that, the globalists wanted to get rid of him. They felt that Klaus and his was the problem here. He's too much a character that everybody makes fun of him. You want to eat the bugs. You're gonna eat the bugs. Yeah. I mean, it's just Klaus. It's just, yeah. So then we have boy here, which I look at as something curious, playful, untamed enthusiasm. But I can also see that just as his son. I think that he wanted to get his son in as his successor, and I don't think the WEF people, the globalists, wanted that. They didn't want him to be deciding who's next. So Larry Fink takes over. The Fink takes over. 70s, the shell is about peace of mind, tranquil emotion, and protection or withdrawal. Right, so they're looking to protect themselves. Yeah, they're thinking of the future of WEF and withdrawal here. I think the WEF thing is dying down a bit, or else they're gonna recede for a bit and go behind closed doors for a while. You know, they've been sitting on stage telling us about how they want to destroy our lives, and I don't think they've been having the effect they want to. Especially with a character like Klaus. Flower is beauty, kindness, gifts. So they thought that they were doing this in the nicest way possible because normally these people would just kill you, right? If you don't go along with their plans, they just kill you because they're criminals and they're psychopaths. But with Klaus, they felt that they were being nice. They were doing it the nice way. I think they asked him to leave. They gave him hints to leave. Klaus refused to leave. So they did it the nicest way possible and gave him some sympathy, gave him, let him out, made it look like he wasn't being pushed out, but that, he was flirting with the girls. I mean, 87-year-old man, I really don't think he was being that forward with the girls, in my opinion. I mean, I guess it's possible, but at that age, I just can't imagine it, He does seem sprightly, very, very youngish, I guess. I mean, I don't know. From what I've seen, he seems to have a lot of energy for his age, and men don't usually live that long, I wonder if he's like already part humanoid. Maybe he's a Homo Borg Genesis or whatever. Maybe he's all vaxxed up himself. Anyways, blood is the next one. And this is life, vitality, sacrifice, heritage, and ancestry. So he was a sacrifice. They had to sacrifice him. They felt like it was the right thing to do, and they probably did a blood sacrifice for it as well, because these Satanists are always sacrificing blood. It's their currency. It's how they get help from the demons, from what I understand. And last but not least, chalice, abundance, celebration, dreams or aspirations yet to be achieved. Yeah, so they're not stopping their main goal, of course, which is to bring in the Chinese Communist Party system around the world and get everybody enslaved with their digital currencies and et cetera, their 15-minute cities and their carbon tax and everything else. They're really itchy. They really want a civil war. They're pushing people. They want a civil war so they can take out all those illegal immigrants they allowed in, which will turn out to be UN troops, and they'll just bring them in and bring everybody to martial law, and that will be it. That'll be the Chinese Communist Party system. After that, you won't be able to leave your house without your digital wallet and ID and all that. That's where they're heading. That's what they really want to spark people to. And they really seem to be doing that in the UK and Ireland. They're pushing people to the limit, arresting them for tweets and whatnot and posts. So they're really trying to push the people, instigate the people to riot in order to bring in the tyranny. It really looks like that's what David Icke keeps saying as well. Yeah. Oops. I'm going to throw some cards as well for Klaus. Since this is his final departure, I think that, I should give him a little longer reading here. Klaus is gone. Ding dong. Klaus is gone. I hope my camera is working okay here. Yeah, okay. Klaus is gone. What happened to poor Klaus? Maybe we should all chip in together and get him a card or something. Retiring is a big deal, right? Even if you are retiring from the largest, most powerful criminal organization, you can find him a nice prison cell somewhere to live. If him and Hild have to move out of their home. It's unbelievable, it's so disgusting. But the whole COVID thing they pulled was so, ugh, and they're going to try it again. If they're not held responsible, they're going to do it again. But anyways, well, at least Klaus is out. That's something. But, all this theater for the masses, I'm suspicious that they're just doing it to try to shut us up. Like, look, he's gone. What are you complaining about? When they're just going to put in somebody like Fink in it, you know what I mean? So it's not going to get any better for us just because he's out. I mean, maybe it will, but let's see. Klaus, what happened to Klaus? Why was he kicked out now? I mean, 87 years old. The guy had it to him to work so long, I guess, even if he was, destroying the world and humanity. The evil people never die. You ever heard that expression that the most evil people, they live the longest? I mean, how often do you hear of an 87-year-old man still the head of a business there, right? I mean, the evil people always live the longest, for sure. Oh my goodness. Let's see. What was the circumstances of his being outed? Yeah. What was leading up to that? What triggered his leaving? Was he expecting to leave or retire soon anyways? Did he expect this? Did he expect all this big scandal of him in the newspapers and all that? I mean, they control the newspapers and everything. You know, the globalists and the WEF people are just like Meghan Markle, but with control of the newspapers and the media, right? Because Meghan only controls what her PR puts out. But imagine Meghan Markle being able to control CNN, ABC, New York Times, Wall Street, like controlling all of them and what they publish. Imagine the world you live in, because that's the world we're in with these World Economic Forum Davos people. It's really sickening stuff. Anyways, to think about. It's like you can't trust anything in the media at all especially about them. So it's like so suspicious. All this is coming out about them in the mainstream media. It's like, believe a word of it. You got to be kidding. You've got to be joking to yourself to believe anything they write in there. Anything, never mind them. Anyway, so let's take a look here. Circumstances of Klaus leaving. I mean, he was there a long enough time. God, 55 years. He expecting it? Was Klaus expecting it? What they do afterwards? What worked against Klaus? How did the Davos WEF people see him or affect him? Were the Davos WEF board behind this, in other words? What helped Klaus stay in? They have all kinds of blackmail against each other. You know that. I mean, it's a real sick, twisted group. And how's it going to be in the long term for the World Economic Forum? Are they going to stick around for many years, or are they finally going down the toilet? Let's find out. Klaus, Mr. Eats the Bugs. What happened to Mr. Eats the Bugs to finally leave the World Economic Forum? Let's see. What happened? See what the cards show. Alrighty. General situation. Oh my goodness. Knight of Swords reversed. Ooh, this was ugly. He was threatened for sure. Of course, he was lied about. But I get it. Like I said, these people, these World Economic Forum people, if they want you gone, they usually just kill you. So they were being a little nice to Klaus there and letting him off easy. It looks like, but he was definitely under threat there. Maybe maybe they were hoping he was going to die from the stress, maybe have a heart attack or something. Hi, Lady of the Lake. Hi, Tiger Eye. Yeah, let's hope you're all doing well. It's good to see you all. I just barely see your comments. Let's see. So Knight of Swords reverse, very dangerous there. A lot of fighting, a lot of arguing, a lot of threats, blackmail. Oh, and then this one is the Eight of Wands reverse. Yeah, nothing in the press about them is accurate. You all know that. So I kind of get the vibe here that things did not and were not going as thank you. This is the necklace, the bracelet I made with my crystal and the copper. I keep hearing copper is good for you. It's supposed to ground the energy in your body. So I said, all right, let me just be healthy for you. It's supposed to help in the crystal too. So I'm trying it out, see if it helps. So far, so good. I feel great. So anyways, see if it helps with my readings too, my psychic abilities. But anyways, it did help me fix the camera. Have you noticed the camera has not gone out at all? I'm happy to announce that since I started getting back to wearing my bracelet, I figured out how to fix the camera so it stops going off on me all the time, which I'm very happy about. So I got this brand new camera and it kept turning off while I'm in the middle of a reading and drive me crazy until I finally figured out what the issue was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyways, yeah, so I'm seeing that they were very angry with him, and he was. I see this is Klaus's situation for why he was fired, and I'm getting there was a lot of nasty words. He was being nasty and rude to people and angry, and because you can imagine working for a psychopath like Klaus Schwab, he's going to be very threatening, and I think he was angry and threatening people, and Ada Wands reversed. I get that he wasn't doing enough. He wasn't really getting anything accomplished. Um, so I think that, at his age, he could just barely get to work, I'm sure, and complain to everyone and then go home. So I kind of get the idea here that he wasn't productive. He wasn't, and he also wasn't good in the media. He's a negative media person because he's such a character. He's such a Nazi that they felt he was a negative media presence. Of course, everybody, like I said, making fun of him with the "it's the bugs, you will eat the bugs." I think they felt like he looked like a cartoon, and so this criminal organization that wants to be taken seriously, they looked ridiculous with, Greta Thunberg. You get this little brat over there saying, "How dare you?" And then you've got Klaus Schwab, the Nazi. Like, I mean, it was like a comedy routine. Is really, except for the fact that they really are murderers and they're so dangerous. But anyways, that negative publicity, I think that on the media, I think that's also part of the reason they were like done with him to get rid of him. He's embarrassing them. Yeah, Knight of Pentacles, but he was very stubborn and he would not leave. I mean, he built this. He created this World Economic Forum. It's his creation, and he wasn't leaving, and he was dangerous and combative, and he would not budge. And it's about money, right? About money as well. He wanted his son to take over. This was his fortune here. This was his, whole life. And but he's, it's going downhill. It looks like. Bottom of it all, King of Swords. Yes, the plan here. I take it that the people, the WEF globalists, they got together, maybe even with King Charles, possibly. But this was discussed and this was planned and this was strategized how they were going to remove Klaus with bad publicity and by making up lies about him and attacking his reputation there. So this was a planned strategic attack on him for sure by his group of criminals, which I take the King of Swords to be like WEF members, the WEF group. What triggered it to be getting rid of him? Oh, the lovers. Look at that. So there was a pact made here. This could allude to him flirting with the wrong girl. Maybe it was the daughter of someone important or something. So it is possible he was making lewd comments, as people suggest. But this could also indicate that this merger here, of within the WEF, this agreement among the WEF criminals, they made an agreement together and said, no, we really need both, pro and anti Klaus people. I assume in the group there's people who liked him and those who didn't, and they got together here and they both agreed it was time for him to go. So it does look like it was a group effort by his WEF globalist buddies there to create some bad publicity to get him out. Yeah, they tried to do it as gently as possible, I guess you could say. Yeah. So was Klaus expecting this? Did he expect this to happen? Ooh, the world reversed. Oh no, he didn't. And look at that. His whole world fell apart. Look at that. He was dancing on top of the world there, Mr. King of WEF, Mr. Eats the Bugs. Now his world ended. It was really devastating for him. I don't think he did expect it. I think he thought he was king of the world. He thought he was king of the world and he was going to be there forever. And it was, WEF was his organization. He was in charge, and never thought this would happen. So he was beyond angry, but he seems like he's a very angry Nazi man anyways. So what worked against him the most? What worked against him the most with this? Oh yeah, the death. See, I told you they didn't feel like he killed enough. They wanted more deaths. His job was to kill millions of people, billions of people, really around the world, and he didn't do a good enough job killing off people. So they're disappointed with him. He didn't kill enough. He was supposed to get, what did those Georgia Guidestones say again? He was supposed to bring the population down to like 144 million or something. Yeah. You wonder if KC will have to step aside. Yeah. Well, I've never heard of that happening unless he gets more ill, right? And I don't do health readings, so I would not read on that. Yeah, I had somebody actually leave a comment asking if King Charles is going to die for me, asking me to predict his death, and I'm like, I do not predict death. I do not do life or death, and I do not do health readings. So I mean, asking if he'd have to step aside is the same as asking if he's going to get more ill, seriously ill. I'm not touching on that one. I don't do health. Sorry, no health readings. It's actually illegal in certain states to do health readings if you're a tarot reader. So it's a major no-no. I know you probably didn't realize that, right? Certain questions or legal implications, even for tarot readings. Believe it or not, that's the way it is. That's the best. So, anyways, okay. Let's see here. So, what helped him stay? What would have helped Klaus stay where he was? They have 9 of coins reversed. Well, he was for a while doing well, bringing in the money. He was the one that got the billionaires, trillionaires together, and he did a good job of getting everybody in there, but not that good, though. I think all the people that he started with have passed on. But the Satanists have a way of passing things through from one generation to the next. But it looks like he wasn't getting the support he used to. He was seen as incompetent because he didn't kill enough. So many more reasons to get rid of him than to keep him. Back in the day, he did fund it and get everybody together. Yeah, but not anymore. So how did the WEF board affect Klaus getting rid of? Ace of Wands. Oh yeah, this was the board, the WEF board. Yeah, they beat him out. They just took a stick and just the press. Like I see the stick as like the media, making a media storm there. Yeah, this was definitely the job of the WEF board. They came in and just, kicked him out, hit him out there, beat him out. Like, you're gone, like a baseball bat, just whacked him out. Yeah, very much so, the board behind it. So this was an inside job. It was a stitch up. Prince Harry, they all like to say stitch ups. There's something like Prince Harry and these WEF people. They're like, oh, it was a stitch up. They really like that. They really like those terms. What is about that one? Anyways, it's good. What they do right afterwards? Queen of Wands reversed. Yeah. Oh man, his wife was freaking out, I'm sure, and probably doing some spell work with her cat there. But it looks like Queen of Wands reversed. A lot of people were very unhappy, besides his wife. Looks like there were a lot of fights going on afterwards, and you can tell things were very disorganized and stressful, and a lot of antagonism. See, these WEF people, they're criminals, right? So of course they don't get along with each other. They're criminals. They're going to fight with each other and threaten each other, and that's what they're doing here. And I think he was threatening people as well, because I got Knight of Swords reversed, which is a murderer. So I mean, there's a lot of fighting and there's a lot of spats. I mean, because these WEF people are not very smart. They think they are, but they're not, and they're disorganized and they're fighting with each other. And so this just brought up more of a brouhaha because they're fighting over who should take over. And I guess one person took over first, and now he left, and now Larry Fink is in there now, but they said it's only temporary. So there's a lot of fighting over who takes over WEF is the bottom line. They're still fighting over it. you're not going to hear about it in the media, of course, because they never allow anything to be published that they don't allow. But you can just tell by the fact that there's nobody there to replace him, and they're choosing this one, and they're going. In just a few months, they had 2 different people already in charge of it. And these people who want to rule the world, by the way, these are the people who want to put you under the Chinese Communist Party system with their AI and whatnot. And these are the people that want to rule the world, and they can't even keep their act together to form their little group here of WEF, the World Economic Forum, little party house they have there in Geneva. They can't even keep it together for that. They're fighting, they're threatening each other, they're using the media, our media, to push us out, push them out. I mean, it's a mess. They're a mess. They're criminals. They're nasty. They don't know how to get along with anyone. They're obnoxious. They're murderous. And this is what you get. So it's no wonder things have ended as they have. They're trying to act like they're legitimate business people that work their way to the top, and none of them are. They're all just wealthy criminals who've done nothing. They're parasites. And the end result, what's going to happen? Oh, Page of Cups. I think that they're going to go quiet for a while. I'm asking about the future of WEF. And I am getting Cups, which is, of course, being more secretive. I mean, they already are very secretive. But I take it that they're going to be more lies, more, everything that they come out with is a lie, which has been so far. We can tell their little reports are all just made up lies. And I see more young people. I see Paige kind of being a young person. So it could be that they get his son or some other young people, and they may rebrand themselves as like a young group to try to reach the young people, perhaps. So I don't see them totally going away, but I do see them, reorganizing and maybe being more focused maybe on psychological influence. Like a Page of Cups is kind of like trying to influence people emotionally, subconsciously. They use all kinds of tactics with the media and et cetera. So I see them focusing on that more and sort of becoming more quiet. You're not seeing so many videos of them on stage bragging about taking over the world and all that. So it does seem like it's going to get quieter. You're not going to hear more from them. I think Klaus's heyday is gone. We're not going to have to endure any more of Klaus and his videos on his blue stage telling us about putting things under your skin. Swords and swords, wands here. So I do get that. This was a nasty strategic separation, and it was over power, and it was just because they're criminals and nasty and don't get along and constantly fighting with each other. And also because they failed. The world card I do take as a globalist card to have it reversed. So they have failed in their new world order because there's too many people who refuse to die, damn it. You're all still alive. They're not. That was not the plan. You were supposed to be on your 10th booster by now. And it didn't happen. So they're pissed. They're pissed, I'll tell you what. And they took it out on Klaus, that's for sure. So there you have it. That is why. Oh, thank you, Tiger Eye. I try. So I hope you enjoyed this. If so, please like and subscribe. And I hope you all have a wonderful day or a wonderful evening. Thanks for being here, you guys. Till next time. Bye-bye.